This is 504. It was just a great time, a moment in history.
The plan was originally for the demonstrators to be outside. A few of us were to go in and make appointments. And when the time came to leave, we didn't leave.
We live here. We are part of your world. We exit.
And they realize that this is a time where they can actually have some kind of empowerment, where they could actually say to the government, we're not going to take the kind of standards that you've given us before. There were no ramps for disabled persons at the time. There were no elevators for the disabled. We would like more a piece of the American pie.
This is the first time that I've come out in a real public way and said, hey, no, I don't accept that. No, I am not second class and I don't accept that.
Are we going to perpetuate segregation in our society? We're one of the largest minorities in this country.
I can tell you that every time you raise issues of separate but equal, the outrage of disabled individuals across this country is going to continue. It is going to be ignited. There will be more takeovers of buildings until finally maybe you begin to understand our position.
People had been waiting since 1973 for the regulations to be issued.
Instead of giving in, they move in what will become the longest occupation of a federal building in U.S. history. 504 means access to public transportation and public spaces. It means free public education and no job discrimination. All basic American civil rights. Proud and defiant, 500 to 600 people in wheelchairs with walking canes and hearing aids storm the regional office of Health, Education, and Welfare in San Francisco. Their purpose? To stop discrimination against the disabled, no matter what the consequences.
There were huge windows in the federal building, and there were people signing the press releases on one side of the windows to people who would re-sign them on the ground to make sure they got it right. That's the way that I know that we got the press releases out.
Food we hear is being brought over by Delancey Street. However, the Salvation Army has not been able to come up with blankets or cots, that sort of thing, so they are still frantically out looking for that.
The regional commissioner's office got turned into the refrigerator because he put the plastic over the air conditioner, draped it across the room over a table and down in front of the table. And so underneath was freezing.
And the Black Panther Party was there every day, bringing us really good food and settling disagreements amongst the people that were getting frazzled and worn out and stuff.
And we had an understanding that our oppression was not the only form of oppression in America.
I think this is going to end up being an historical event for the country and beyond that, because this is whether the Montgomery actions and civil rights movements are Stonewall and gay rights movements and so on. This is the event in which disabled people said that we would assert our rights.
It wasn't typical for people with developmental disabilities and mental health disabilities and all these various disabilities that had not necessarily worked together before to really come together on one issue.
I feel real good because it's like all this anger that I've had is finally making sense and it's being turned outward where it belongs into changing things, and that feels really strong and positive.
We were not the poor people to be kept in somebody's basement. We needed to be proud of having disabilities and being fully functional, not overcoming disabilities, but rather having disabilities and being fully functional human beings, and that we could show the world that.
Tonight, 35 million Americans are no longer second-class citizens. Regulation 504, what is being called a Bill of Rights for all of this country's handicapped, has finally been signed by HEW Secretary Joseph Califano.
Secretary of HEW Joseph Califano called them the oppressed and hidden minority. The new rules will usher in a new era of civil rights that will change the face of America, starting with such things as curbstones at intersections. Programs in virtually every institution that receives government funds must be made accessible to the handicapped within 2 months.
We show strength and courage and power and commitment. That we the shutters or the shutouts, we the hidden, supposedly the frail and the weak, that we could wage a struggle at the highest level of government and win.
All of you who supported us from the outside, who worked so hard also. And I might add, the struggle has really just begun. There's so many more things we're going to have to deal with in the future. And this coalition is a part of a national movement, and we're going to stick together and continue to fight for our civil rights.
Every person in that building was making a sacrifice of one form or another. And I think what came out of that was people realizing that in banding together and working together, you can get much more to happen than if everybody individually is trying to do something.
People will accept us now, keep the movement alive. I think, if we don't keep pushing, people will forget.
Demand the right to section 504, 504, 504. Demand the right to section 504, 504, 504. Demand the right to section 504, and we won't go till we won. What Carter told the American people, I support 504, for I'm an advocate for your human rights. Just get me through the White House